Selling my house, where the hell do I go during the showings? Moving back to California from Texas. I'm sure some people are happy to hear that lol. Agent says we should be out of the house for every showing, but I have a small dog and an 88-year-old mom that's very social. Where can I spend hours at a time? North Fort Worth, Texas. Anywhere but inside the house. I've seen multiple homes where the owner is chilling inside. I guarantee this turns off buyers, and those sellers are costing themselves tens of thousands of dollars because they couldn't be bothered to leave the house for an hour. Go sit in your car in a park or something. If only you weren't in Texas right now lol. Nothing outdoors is recommended, especially for a senior. Are there libraries near you that are pet-friendly by any chance? If so, that might be a great place to chill for a few hours, cool, comfy chairs, lots of reading material, etc. Just hide in the crawl space. I don't know your market, how quickly homes sell, or how much demand there is for it. In many markets, if your agent does a marketing blitz, pre-markets, plans an open house event, and sets a tone of urgency, you could possibly just go stay with a family member or take a mini vacation for a long weekend and be done with it. Your market may or may not be one of those, but it's a thought. When I was selling a while back, we always left, just go to the park, a bar, Starbucks, Panera, whatever. One time, I was working from home and was on a Zoom conference call that was going on forever. My agent called and said she was coming over to show the house, and I still was stuck on the call. I turned the camera off, went to my car parked in the garage, and sat in the car as quiet as I could. Prospective buyers were none the wiser, and they actually ended up being the buyers. Short story GTFO of the house. We sold our house earlier this year. We have a dog and toddler. Twice we sat at the park, once we went to my grandparents', and the buyers that actually bought our house we were home for. They were desperate to see our house, knew we already had an offer, and didn't mind that we were home and that our son was sleeping, meaning they couldn't really see his room. Our house was listed Wednesday evening, under contract by Saturday. The showings were the worst part of selling. The good news is that you are in North Fort Worth. Homes move very quickly up there and have for quite a while now. With the current heat wave, you'd want to go someplace that is air-conditioned and also allows pets. Or, a senior location where you could drop off your mom while you hang out with the pup in the car. I haven't lived in Fort Worth in a while, but I'd assume there are many places that would welcome you in to hang out. I'd be shocked if you don't have an offer within a couple of days. We have a very elderly dog with mobility issues, so getting out of the house isn't easy and is hard for her. The biggest glut of showings is the first weekend week. We got a cheap dog-friendly hotel for a week like a Best Western and just chilled out there. Sure, it was an extra expense, but it made it so much easier and stress-free. We went home at night to sleep in our own beds and went back over in the morning. We would have slept there if necessary, but the dog was up for a car ride. My wife worked remotely from the hotel and I went into the office. Put on a hat and a fake mustache and pretend to be a very excited buyer. Burst through the door and tell the agent this is the best home I've ever seen and I'm willing to offer 100 over asking just to get it, as it's very undervalued. This works best for open houses. When I sold my house I had 3 dogs and a newborn lol. I packed everyone up and drove to the beach and just sat there listening to the waves. The dogs were the hard part because I couldn't just leave them. One showing lasted several hours and I was going insane, but they ended up buying the house, so it was worth it. Most breweries around me are dog-friendly, so that might be an option, and if you don't drink, most places have some non-alcoholic options, too. Plus board games to help kill the time. Hopefully there are some near you that are similar. We went to a showing recently and the buyer was sitting on the back patio, because he was legally blind. An old chatty woman in a house for a showing is a death nail. We'll speak up for OP and say that it's way too hot in TX right now for anything outside like walks or the park. High tomorrow in Fort Worth is 106F with a heat index of 113F. Get out and do things? The aquarium, go walk the mall, museums, the library. Bonus is since she's a senior she should get a discount to most public spaces. Go for a walk or a drive and sit somewhere. Billy Bob's. Go to air-conditioned, dog-friendly places. Home Depot, Lowe's, TJ Maxx, Hobby Lobby, etc. or take mom for a scenic drive. You could also drop the dog W a friend or off for grooming and go out to lunch. We went to a house once where everyone was home and they were cooking dinner and it was the most awkward experience of my life. It would have mattered if the house was the world's best bargain because we noped out of there so fast we barely saw a thing. I toured a house which was ostensibly empty. My realtor and I were surprised to find a man asleep in the basement which had been turned into a rough, makeshift bedroom. He was as shocked to see us as we were to find him. When selling, I usually parked a block or two away with my car facing in the right direction to be able to see when they left. It helped gauge interest to see how long they stayed. It wasn't hot, though. Go watch a movie or something. Swing through a drive-thru and eat lunch, go to a park and chill for an hour, walk around the mall. Anywhere else. Alternatively, you can restrict the showing schedule to only certain times days if it helps you plan, but you'll also lose some potential buyers. When our house was for sale we had 2 dogs we needed to pile into the car for every showing. One time I was bored and decided to do a drive past the house during a viewing. Our hound dog stuck her head out the window and let out the most obnoxious "get off my lawn ah-ah-hoo-woo." So keep that in mind if you decide to do a drive-by. We have 3 dogs and a baby. We booked a hotel for 3 nights. We open showings up Friday 4 to 7 p.m., Saturday all day and Sunday all day. Just went to the hotel during the day to camp out. We got an offer Saturday morning, cancelled our Sunday open house, told our realtor we would one of the already booked showings but to not allow any more. We were very happy with that offer. We wound up with only that offer but we were more than fine with that. I asked them to block and book like a whole Saturday and Sunday and I just got a dog-friendly hotel room. I was over having to find places to go as well. We just put our condo up for sale and had 3 showings the first day, 10:30, 2:00 and 5:30. I went out for a solo coffee, then lunch, then a beer and came back in between to make sure everything was back in order. Quick vacuum of carpeted rooms and lights back on. Did the same the next day for the open house in the morning. It's an inconvenience, but do you want the horror stories of above? If you can, have preferred showing hours if there are time that's are easier for you to be out. Toss mom and dog in the car and go for a drive, get a milkshake, whatever. Most showings don't last more than 20 minutes anyway. I don't want to be glib here, but I sold my house in Maryland in April 2020, when everything was locked down during the pandemic. I have 3 kids, a dog, and 2 cats. I literally couldn't go anywhere. We got drive-through fast food and sat in parking lots while the kids colored with chalk, because all playgrounds were roped off with police tape. If I could get out of the house for showings, so can you. If it's just for a few hours, IDK, Starbucks or coffee shop. Day trip to a local attraction. Lunch and a movie. Me and the wife literally packed up my dog and drove to the park. I turned down one place because our abuelita was sleeping in a makeshift dining room bedroom and the whole place smelled like fryer oil. See if listing agent can condense showings to a couple hours twice per week. That way you can schedule errands, social stuff during that time and not be put out. It may not work in your market but worth it to ask listing agent.